Hi everyone, welcome to the project presentation Bounty-based federated learning of neural networks. Okay, so at first we will go through the problem statement of this, which this project is trying to solve. So as you are aware, everyone is like the major problems of the machine learning are the availability the data. The first thing is like data privacy, and then the data availability, and then other one is a huge, humongous amount of computing power needed for training the model and then running machine learning algorithms. So, so the federated learning is an area in the machine learning which is trying to solve these problems. So to explain about the federated learning is a distributed machine learning approach which enables model training on a large corpus of decentralized data on various distributed devices. So to give an example, uh, in a, how the machine federated learning works. So in the federated learning architecture, you will be having a central parameter server, and there will be various devices, many thousands of devices distributed across various locations. And when the central parameter server, which is will be sending a lightweight model to onto various devices which are connected to this server, and then it initiates the model training. The models, the lightweight models which are present on the devices will be training their model on the data which is present on the devices. And then later, like when the server requests those devices to send their parameters, they just send their model parameters, but they will not be sending the data. Just they will be sending the parameters, and then the central server will try to aggregate all the parameters received from the various devices and will update its local model. So when the central parameter model is updated, all the devices try to fetch the model from the central server and try to update their local model. So if you observe on this in this way, if you observe on this, like the the various devices are not sending their data. Their data is private now. They're not sending the data over the network. They're just sending the weight updated their own lightweight model parameters, but they are getting the benefits of training the data on various devices, and all the computing power which is needed. So the devices will be having very less compute power and less data, but they are getting the model which is trained and aggregated on the large amount of data and using huge computing power. So this is federated learning. So yeah, in the first part of my project, I'll try to compare like federated learning with the traditional machine learning, and then try to see the statistics and everything, how it works. Those details are described in the report which I submitted. And the second part is like, so when these devices are contributing the data, it is our responsibility to actually reward the devices which are contributing the meaningful data. So for the same, actually, I am trying to integrate the federated learning with the blockchain network and try to reward those devices. So I will explain why, like what is a proof of concept architecture which I built. After building the proof of concept, I learned that there are some shortcomings actually which can overcome, and then in the later part, I'll propose an architecture which is sustainable and scalable. And in the future, as part of my future work, I'll be working on the architecture. So yes, I will be walking through the project now. So I hope you all are like got the problem statement which I'm trying to work on. So yeah, so how can we reward the other problem statement is like, how can we reward the devices which contribute more to the learning process of the model. And this project aims to find ways of doing that and tries to combine the federated learning and then the blockchain technologies. So the main inspiration for this, or the motivation for this project, comes from this research papers, federated learning strategies for improving communication efficiency. So this was proposed by the Google engineers initially, and then later it got picked up, and various engineers are trying to work on this area. And the other paper is like, which try to use the machine learning models and then the Ethereum blockchain, and try to work on the similar lines which I proposed, which I worked on. So, and various other white papers and open source project which I referred as like Ocean Protocol and PySIFT and PyGrip. I'll talk about these projects in detail in the later part of the presentation. I just want to cite them as the resources over here. So, like the architecture which I will implemented in the my proof of concept is like where we'll be having a central parameter server, and you will be having various devices. If in the first round, the devices will be parameter server will be sending the lightweight model onto these devices, and these devices will train the model on the data available on these devices, and they'll be sending the model parameters to the parameter server, which will be aggregating the parameters received and then updating its own local model. From the local model, these devices try to download the updated model and then try to work on in the other rounds. So when the parameter server receives the device IDs of all these devices, it will request the blockchain network, like which is where the Flash server is an interface to pay the to reward those devices accordingly using the Hyperledger network, and then the reward is done accordingly. And these devices can check what is the amount of balance they have and everything using various wallet provided. And the tech stack is like written the code in the Python, and then the is the open source framework which on top of PyTorch it is built, and then it helps in like the federated learning and uh, distributing the model and data everything. So Flask is for the server which to interact with the blockchain network, and Ethereum Ganache are used in the blockchain network. So if we talk about the data set and model, so we have a data set like we have surnames of different languages of origin at the end of the training of the model. So when a surname is given, model will try to predict the language of origin of the names surname, and then the model is a very lightweight model, like five layer model with 128 neurons in each layer, and then one output layer. And I'm using negative log likelihood loss function. I'll just quickly walk through a short demo so that I'll just show you visualization, like what I am trying to work on, to give a clear understanding of the project. So we can configure, you see, like actually I ran one round. I'll try to refresh it. Yeah. So, okay. Now we can just choose the number of clients we need. Like if we can we can make 3 or 4. Accordingly, it will be created over here. This is simulation, which is kind of UI, and there is backend. Actually, the UI simulation and the backend are not connected. I'll be showing you the first UI, and then I'll show you the backend. And we can just select the client number and then the data set, and then whatever the model we want to train on. And then we we have the way to choose like what is the power present for the particular device, so that like we want to use the device which has more power and battery power. So that can be as a used as a parameter. Like we don't want to use the compute power of the mobile devices which have less battery power. uh, so, and then after setting all these parameters like samples and then everything, then we'll try to run the training, like where the epoch will be running and the training will be happening on all the devices. And after the training is done, these clients will try to mine and create a block in the blockchain network. You can see the blockchain over here, blockchain network, and the information block height and active clients and total power and everything. Now the mining is happening. You can see the steps over here, configuring the clients, post a task, training, and then the mining. When the mining is done, winner is declared and a block is created on the blockchain. And we have seen previously 10223 is the height, now 1024 is the height. So this is a architecture which I want to work, which I am working on, but the backend is working, but front end is not connected to the backend. Kind of, you can think of it's a simulation. And so now I'll just quickly walk you through the backend. So uh, I hosted everything on Google Cloud Network, and then I'm connecting it to the remote desktop connection. So if you see, like these are the devices which are participating in the training, and from this account I'll be transferring the money. The current balance is 87. So to I reduced all those extra steps and just run the one round of the training, and then after the training the devices will be rewarded. Uh, yes, we will see like at the end the devices will be rewarded accordingly after the end of the round. Yeah, I hope so. There are no issues in creating the blocks. Um, yeah, oh yeah, training is done. Now, if you look at this, yeah, now before it was 88 around, now it was 83, and then these devices got rewarded at the end of the round. Uh, the that's how it's currently works. And then yeah, how it works, if you see like at the before at the, in the first step, like data is randomly split across the devices before the first round, and central server creates a pytorch hook and distributes it to the clients. And using the rpc calls, uh, uh, rpc calls are made, and using the hooks which are present on the clients, various operations are performed, like starting the training and training the model and sending the parameters. All those things are done using the RPC calls, and weights from the hooks are aggregated at the end of the round. And next, the payment request is made to the Flash server, which execute the transaction on the blockchain. And workers are started on the clients using this command, and where we'll be giving you the ID, giving the ID, which is used for for the payment purposes. Yes, but this works, but the basic problem actually is, so how, like we can't reward the devices which randomly give their data, and but randomly give data any amount of data. We cannot reward device just give for giving the data. We have to reward the devices which contribute meaningful data. So that's an actual problem. How we evaluate the parameters which are received by the devices. So that's a problem I faced after implementing the POC. So when I looked deep into the problem, I found that some solutions, like how we do the data evaluation. It's a very generic problem, but most widely used methodology is like using the Shapley values. How the Shapley values works is like, I'll take a small example, like now three persons are wants to share a taxi, and if they go individually to their destinations, A has to pay £6, B has to pay £12, and C has to pay £42. So now how, like if they share a taxi, how much they have to contribute, how you calculate that. For that, what the Shapley values does is like, they make the combinations of uh, various persons like A, B, A, C, and everything. Now, if A and B and A, B shares, A has to pay six and B has to pay six. Like A, C is sharing, then A will pay six and B, C will pay 34, 36 or something like that. So they will try to make various combinations like this, A, B, C, and everything, and they will try to calculate the share of each person, and at the end they will try to take an average of the each person's share. Each person's share, like you can see over here in the bottom line. The intuitive explanation is like, they, like if you have three persons, they will combine all those. They will combine, take the combination of all, and then try to uh, calculate the improvement in the model when all three are together, and now they remove one person from the 1% contribution from the model, and try to compute the again the improvement in the model. So when like by doing the various combinations, they'll try to see like if one person is removed, how much contribution we are missing. So uh, like that, they will try to calculate. Okay, so yeah, they try to contribute the individual, try to evaluate the individual contributions. But the biggest problem is like evaluation. As you see, like the number of clients increases, the computational cost grows exponentially. So that's where like I got the idea, inspired from this paper. I built this architecture where we can use a blockchain network to calculate or compute the Shapley values. So, like in the traditional blockchain networks, miners will be calculating the meaningless puzzles to make the blocks. Instead of that, we can integrate federated learning and the blockchain, where the miners calculate the Shapley values uh, provided by the federated learning server, and then actually get some money out of it. So to make it sustainable, what I proposed is like the if you want to start the round of the federated learning, uh, the person who wants value out of this round has to pay the initial money to the central server, and then central server will divide that money according to the contributions to these devices and these nodes and everything, so that it will be sustainable. And that's how it works. Like when a person pays certain amount, then the round will be started, and then contributions are taken from the individual, like weight parameters are taken from the devices and given to the blockchain network to complete the Shapley values, and miners will try to compute and then give back the results according to the Shapley values. The devices are rewarded money, and for mining for computing the Shapley values, even the miners will get rewarded for the same. And whole this amount should not exceed the initial money which is paid by the training requester, and that is explained over here. And the yeah that's how I want to, this is the architecture which I am proposing, where it will be sustainable, and then the total cost will not exceed the initial amount. In this architecture, even the person who is paying the money will be happy because he's getting some knowledge out of the training, and then even the devices are getting money, and the persons who are mining, they are also getting some money. So everyone is happy in this architecture, and I feel it is sustainable. And other open source project, very good open source projects which are working in this area is the Open Ocean Protocol, where the goal is to connect with the data hubs with the AI hubs. So entire network is made where the people who have the data can make the data available on the network, and the people who have compute power make it available on the network. And the person who wants the data can go and buy the data from the people who have data, and person who wants computing power, they can go and buy the compute power, so that it is kind of democratizing the AI, so that the AI is not in the hands of some few companies also. And then the transactions happens on the Ocean Coin, and this is an open source project which is getting like a huge rapport. And other open source projects are like PyGrid, which I used in this project, like for data learning, and then the all those communication between the devices and everything. And other projects are like TensorFlow federated and PyTorch distributed. But these projects are like, especially TensorFlow federated is not much open. Actually, we don't have much like control over uh, the communication and the models and the everything. So that's why I went with the PyGrid. And the future work and the conclusions which I want to state is like, before starting this project, I was looking at the idea of federated learning and then the blockchain, and then making it sustainable or something. By implementing the POC, I got some concepts about this two technologies, and then now I can confidently state that we can make this architecture sustainable and combine both these technologies and work towards democratizing the AI. And my future work will be also like As I mentioned, computing the Shapley values is like grows exponentially as the devices increases. By using certain approximation algorithms, we can reduce the complexity of the computation. And I want to work on this area. And from the above research and related work, we can conclude that there is a good feasibility for the above project, and then implemented in full scale with the added enhancements of data evaluation. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. Mm.